Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Today we're just coming on for a little bit of an extra video for you today, bonus footage, if you'd like to put it like that. It's the cup final. It is Chelsea versus Leicester. Takes place later on. So we thought we'd come on and do a preview. I'm joined by Steve, who is on strike from football with Brownie. How are you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Jake. I had a nice lie-in this morning, an early night last night, because I went on strike on football with Brownie. So normally that goes on for 3 hours, doesn't it? So I actually got to bed about 10:30. So that was lovely, mate. Lovely.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll have a visit from football with Brownie at some point, especially because of your name. But this today is the 140th cup final in the FA Cup's history. Chelsea versus Leicester. No Man City in this. The quadruple cannot happen. So I mean, Steve, we're gonna have a different winner for once. I mean, it just seems to be Man City all this year, but a different winner.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I hope it's Leicester, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Chelsea Football Club anyway. So, but Leicester obviously have never won it, have they? It'd be good for the history of the cup, mate, for somebody else to go on the list of winners, And I like Leicester fans. I got to be honest. I like their club. I like the way they've done things. Good luck to them. I personally could go into penalties. I think this, but. You never know with a cup final, anything can happen, can it?
Yeah, you raise a very valid point. A very well-run club with some very good owners, and you just like them, because at the stage when they won the league, it was just the big six which one's going to win it? Probably going to be one of these sides, and it was just refreshing to see an underdog. It really was the rise from the dead, going from the last season from being dead and buried and nearly relegated to winning the flipping thing. And that is a fairy tale of football. And it was obviously in the 15-16 season fantastic to see them win the league, in my opinion. And I've always liked Leicester. I'd like them to win today, but obviously for the rest of the season, I prefer them not to do fantastic because we are in a Europe race, Steve, and let's just keep injecting that into our mind. Probably not Champions League anymore, but obviously funnier things happen in football. But yeah, I like Leicester. You said Chelsea. I mean, I don't want Chelsea to win this. I'd rather Leicester win it. That's for sure. I'm sure many fans watching this in the chat as well would rather see, perhaps the underdogs of Leicester win this.
Well, I'm hoping, to be honest, from a selfish point of view. Normally, when you win the FA Cup, if they follow West Ham's tradition, especially, you go on to lose all your next games. So that'd be fantastic for West Ham. Let them win the cup, let them take the glory, and let the rails fall off their Premier League push.
That would be perfect, I think. Oscar's in the chat with your lovely. Let me see if I can change that so you can see that lovely Moyes. Let's go here and have a look. Look at that, David Moyes there. All hail the Moyes. If you can see that there, picture of David Moyes. I like it. I hope you are well, Oscar. But let's just talk a bit about Chelsea looking very, very good under Thomas Tuchel. Lost to Arsenal, but they're looking very, very good and a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's moved the club on from Lampard, hasn't he? He's a very good tactician by the looks of things, something that Lampard seemed to struggle with. I got to be honest, I don't really follow their games much because I'm not a Chelsea fan at all, but I do if they're on. I'll have a quick look, mate, to be honest. But he's moved them on. He's a manager with a good reputation. Oh, sorry about that. That's me till ringing. Customers spending money. So he's doing all right. He's doing all right, mate, isn't he? But I don't really follow him, mate, to be honest. No, I like the underdog teams, mate. I've always been an underdog team, and talk the FA Cup. What's your favourite cup final ever then? Apart from West Ham, you're not allowed to use the West Ham ones because we all know 2006 was probably the best FA Cup final ever, despite we drew. I know it wasn't. We didn't lose. We drew because it went to penalties. But from a biased point of view, obviously, we should have won, really, shouldn't we? So, but that was I think that was the best game of football ever played in an FA Cup final. Another one for me would have been Tottenham Man City, believe it or not. Although I despise Tottenham, that was a good cup final. That was a good one. But one of my favourites was Wimbledon beating Liverpool. I loved that one. I thought that was a classic as well. What about you, Jake? In younger years of the FA Cup, what finals did stick out for you?
Oh, obviously the two. Obviously, I wasn't alive, but brought up as a West Ham fan. The 2006 FA Cup final. But to be honest, I like watching an FA Cup final. I do, but none really stick out to me that much. I mean, Arsenal tend to win it every other year, don't they? The Emirates FA Cup, the Emirates Stadium. I like to call it their cup. But yeah, none really stick out for me. I mean, I do like the underdog to win it, and we didn't do that in 2006, but I definitely like to see that happen today. Let's see who's in the chat. Right, the big man's in, Peach is in, yes, JAK to the E. Big up the horse betting man, Steve. He's been kind because he hasn't put. I tell you what, I rang Peach about half an hour ago, and I said, I'm doing a preview FA Cup final. I've got Potter's Corner man himself on, and he went, yes, I'll watch that. That is still out there on YouTube, Steve, to watch.
Is it? Well. Yeah. You can't win them all, mate, can you? You can't win them all.
Basically, if you didn't watch it, we did a grand national special predictions on Peach's birthday, and Steve, for the whole half an hour live, he said Potter's Corner will win it. Not quite.
Well, I think it's still running, Jake. You haven't finished yet.
Probably. That's always wanted the underdog to win the cup finals. Yeah, I had two things that I'd like with cup finals. Unless I hated the team that were the underdog, I'd like the underdog to win it, and I'd like it to go to penalties because I love a good penalty shootout, and we don't see them often. Wimbledon versus Liverpool was brilliant, says Dad as well. Yeah, it should be quite a good game. How are you expecting the game to go? In your opinion, Leicester control it, Chelsea control it.
As a poor betting tipster man, going on my track record, I would say in this game, I think Leicester will go 1-0 up. Sit back and try and park the bus. I'm going to go for Chelsea to nick one as the pressure gets to nearer the end of the game and around the 80th minute. And then I think the game will then ride out to penalties.
Mm-hmm. I'd like that, Leicester could nick the first goal and then try and park the bus. But I feel Chelsea, they've always got that in them. They always got that in them to, chuck some extra players on the pitch, or have that just tactical wit about them. I think they probably will have too much for Leicester on the day, but anything can happen in cup finals, Steve.
Well, what's that striker called they got who can never score?
Werner.
Yeah. I bet he has a shocker, right? I'll put money on him having a shocker. It'd be like John Williams in a Welsh Cup final. I'm just trying to find some predicted 11s because so we've got a probable Chelsea team, so we're going to dissect this now. Okay. So a 3-4-2-1 formation with Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Thiago, Rudiger, James, Kante, Kovacic, Alonso, Ziyech, Mount, and Werner. I mean, even that there, Ziyech, Mount, Werner. That's a decent front three to have, isn't it? I do. Yeah, sorry, Jake. I do rate Mason Mount. I think he's a very good prospect, and I'd like to see him. He's only a youngster still, and what's he, 21, something like that. So if Chelsea are going to score, I'd like to see him be on the score sheet for being British, playing in the British Cup final, and also I think he's a well-grounded lad despite his stardom. Yeah. So, But hey, talking of cup final, I haven't got over Paul Allen getting scythed down by Willie Young up by Arsenal. He'd have been the youngest goal scorer in an FA Cup final. I still haven't got over that yet.
Yeah. Mason Mount's really come on this season. Mason Mount's really came on this season. Last season he was a bit in and out of the side, not quite there. But this season, in my opinion, he's really pushed on. So I've got here a Leicester predicted 11, and when we look at Leicester, we see these hidden jewels that they find almost like the jewels that we found with Soucek and Soufal. These players that no one's ever heard of but have come really good. So let's have a look at their predicted lineup with a 3-5-2 formation. Schmeichel in goal, a back three of Johnny Evans. I mean, who would think that? Johnny Evans coming good this season, firstly, Steve.
Well, surprising that, isn't it? You know, I've never rated him myself, mate. When he got released from Man United, I wasn't surprised. I thought, well, he's not up the grade. But fair play, he's proved a lot of people wrong. And I like to see that when a player proves people wrong, you know. It's he's worked hard, obviously, and he's played well all season for Leicester. And I think he had a good season last season. Did he? Where was he last season? He was on the team last season, wasn't he? I think so.
Yeah. Let's hit comments before we go through the rest of the team. Peter Potter's got stuck in a corner, Steve. Oscar says Mount and Rice, both 22 English, both best friends. Bring Mount to the bowl. Yeah. I think people were a bit skeptical of that because they didn't think Mason Mount was perhaps good enough, but I think he's proved people this season that he definitely is. Willie Young, only a yellow card in the day.
Unbelievable, Rich. Unbelievable. Did he get a yellow? I didn't think he even got booked, to be honest. But maybe he did get a yellow card.
Yeah. Pete says Mason Mount legend. Yeah, definitely came on this season. But I mean, there's three defenders, there's three centre backs, and the other two, they're hidden gems as well. Firstly, Fofana really came on this season, in my opinion. We're going to do the team of the season. I did a video a couple of weeks ago. As soon as the Premier League season ends, May the 23rd, we will be putting out loads of guests with Gravon. We're going to get everyone that usually comes on the channel to do their Premier League team of the season, and I've got a feeling he'll get in some people's because he's been fantastic this season. Fofana, Steve, he's looked really, really good, and they reckon Soyuncu as well, who's been he had a bit of a nightmare against Newcastle last week, but another really, really good defender, and that's a very solid back three, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, no, it's solid, very solid. And like you say, they've all played well this season. Credit where credit's due, really.
Yeah, I agree. And then moving up the pitch, then they've got Pereira, Ndidi, Tielemans, those two. Ndidi, Tielemans, they're up there with Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, in my opinion, for the best central defensive midfield or central midfield partnership in the league. They are very, very underrated. Tielemans, I would love West Ham to got him. And Ndidi as well. I mean, they splashed the cash on these players, but they're coming really, really good. Castagna as well, alongside a very, very good front three yet again. So both sides have got, I'd say Leicester have probably got really, really good defence. Chelsea got an okay defence, but this is possibly not quite up there with Chelsea's front three. But let's have a look. Maddison, Vardy, Iheanacho. Iheanacho's been on massive, massive top form this season. Maddison, you know what you're going to get from him. And Vardy, he could score. He scores when he wants. He could score at any moment. A good striker 12 as well. So I'd say looking at those starting lineups, quite even. Obviously, Chelsea have that bit more, recognisable players in their quality, but that's a pretty good side from Leicester as well.
Yeah, it's a good side. Yeah, Vardy, obviously, we all know what he's capable of. The Inter lad, I've always liked him. And that Pereira, to be honest, I do rate him as well. So the trouble is, I think these two sides are possibly going to level each other out. That's my thing, where it's going to be a tight game, I think each manager is going to want to win it. You got the German manager just into the Premier League, so to speak, haven't you? Right. So, and you've got Brendan Rodgers. I don't think he's ever won anything. Brendan Rodgers, silverware, really.
They dipped down last season, didn't they? They had a massive, awful run to, deny themselves of Champions League last season.
Scotland, obviously, which is like park football, isn't it? But when he was up there, Swansea. Did he get promoted? I can't remember if he was there when he got promoted. I think he did, but no major trophies really for Brendan Rodgers. Not that I recall. Maybe someone can put me straight. So I think he's going to be desperate to win it for the club anyway, because he loves being in Leicester. We know that, the way he turned down Tottenham. Obviously, everybody would turn down Tottenham anyway, hopefully. But yeah, he seems pretty happy up at Leicester, doesn't he? So I'm sure he wants to deliver for the city and for the people and for the fans and for himself, So and for the owners. So I reckon that it's going to be a cautious game. I think a very cautious game. Whether an early goal could change it, of course. If you do get an early goal from an error or a mistake, then he could open up the game big time, you know. But my sneaky feeling, and in relation to Mjol's tip, I'm going for an early Leicester goal, lots of Chelsea pressure, Leicester keeping them out until about the 80th minute. But who knows in a game? And who knows with my tips as well, mate?
Yeah, that's a very good analysis of what we could see. Also, says, wish we got Fofana as well, but we messed it up. Yeah, I just looked. He's 20 years old as well, and what he's done, probably one of the best centre backs in the league this season, alongside Ruben Diaz at Man City. But to be fair, Fofana hasn't had the players that Ruben Diaz has had around him. I mean, flipping out. You look at Man City. I mean, they only just got past Newcastle yesterday, 4-3, mad game. But I mean, the players that he's got around him, Fofana, so underrated and fantastic player at just the age of 20 this season.
That's a good example of what we're saying, Jake, right? About this game, they've got it all to play for. Last night's game, there was nothing to play for, was there? No. Look how the game was so open last night between Newcastle and Man City. Yeah, you end up with a 4-3 thriller. Yeah, whereas this game today, like many cup finals, they are tight games. You know, the teams hold back. They're too scared of making a mistake because there's too much to play for. And I think that's what we see today. As unfortunately we've seen in a lot of cup finals, especially in the last 10 years, you know, like you say, Arsenal won a few, but nobody went out and really played to play to win. They played to make sure they won, if you get me drift. And so I'm just hoping, you know, it's great. Cup finals are great when you get an open game. So an early goal could get us an open game, but I don't see it. I don't see it, mate, to be honest. But who knows? Yeah. You never know, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, just to touch on Man City, I mean, when they went down 1-0, because we watched the game last night, Dad mentioned to me, you know, oh, that's all right, if it gets to half-time or the 60th minute and they're still losing, they can chuck Riyad Mahrez or the best, you know, the best young player in the Premier League, possibly Phil Foden on there to do the job. Not needed, but they said, you know, they're probably holding back some of these players because it was quite rotated for City last night. They had a 35-year-old who hasn't played in the Premier League for 10 years in goal. They put Scotty Carson in goal. Fair play to Pep for doing that. But you know, I think they're saving these players for the Champions League final, which I mean, that will be a fantastic game if both sides go in all guns blazing. That Champions League final, Chelsea versus City, that will be a fantastic game, not only for English fans because it's an all English final, but for football as well. There's some serious talent just going off a bit on that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, it's one of those games, though, isn't it? It could go either way. You know, I don't see Man City losing it. I think although you know they lost against Chelsea the other day, but I think when it comes to that Champions League final, I don't think Chelsea got a chance, to be honest. I think Man City will go full guns blazing, right, and tear Chelsea apart.
We'll have to wait and see. Right, here we go. If Brownie was a councillor in Leicestershire, Steve, he would have.
He's very good at spending other people's money, Richard, but he's not very good parting with it.
Poor old Brownie. But I'm going to ask you now, looking towards the game, just before we move on, one key player from both sides. So we'll start, you know, looking at those predicted lineups and, you know, everything we know going into the game that kicks off later on. One key player, firstly from Leicester.
I'll go for Vardy today. I think he's going to be big up for it. Non-league, come from the non-league, in a cup final. He's proved everybody wrong for years. I think he'd be up for it today. I think he'd be a key player. I think he'd be so fired up for it today, just for the history of the history of it all. And for Chelsea, Mount. I think Mount will be their key player, mate. He's on form at the moment, that lad.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned, you know, Jamie Vardy going from non-league, and they put on Sky Sports this morning. Last time Scott Carson played in the Premier League, Jamie Vardy was still at Fleetwood in non-league. Phil Foden was 8 years old, and and in between that time, Cristiano Ronaldo scored 325 goals in his career. I found that really funny, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I mean, Vardy, he will be well up for this today. A dream, any player's dream, but for him as well, going from non-league into an FA Cup final, he will be absolutely up for that. But I think Ian Acho, the man on form this season, it's between those two for me. Ian Acho, you know, he's been superb this season. So I'll go for me. The key players, Ian Acho, and I'll agree with you with Mason Mount. He's class this season. But just before we move on to the predictions, then, where do you think the game's going to be won or lost?
Where is it going to be won or lost? Wembley.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. I shouldn't have said yes to that. On the pitch.
In the penalties, mate. I think I've got a feeling it's going to penalties, and I think we're going to see a penalty shootout in this one. And I think out of the penalty takers, I think Leicester will win it on penalties.
Quality in both sides in penalties.
As I come off here, I'm going to have a little bet with the bookies in a minute on penalties. I'm starting to make me start thinking a bit here. You are, Jakey. Could be on a winner here.
Oh, see, the last time he came on here and was confident about something, it all went horribly wrong. Will it all go horribly wrong again? Brownie will probably clip this if it doesn't go to penalties and blast it everywhere. But anyway, Gates is in. Hope you are well, Gatesy. Yeah, Dad's going Chelsea to win on penalties. And right then, so we're going into predictions. I will play my little predictions clip, but you know it's got the London Stadium and West Ham on it. I'll play that later on for the build-up show. Talking of the build-up show, will be live 6:30 with James, and I believe we might have a slice of peach in there as well for the build-up show. And starting 11 reaction, massive game. But Steve, quickly, just before we go on to predictions, quick thoughts. West Ham versus Brighton later on. We will do the build-up show, but you are a West Ham fan, so your thoughts and score prediction for both of these games.
The trouble is, Jake, we don't know which West Ham's turning up. That's the trouble. Like I sadly predicted, which I did get right, we've sort of fallen from grace a bit of late. And we don't look the same team as if we have been looking. You know, when we were opening up teams and 3-0, we're at 3-0 up. How often 15, 20 minutes into the game? It's making me nervous. We're doing it the West Ham way again, mate. Sadly, my prediction is we'll lose 1-0. I don't want. That's my prediction. I hate to say it, but I really can't see us. I could just see West Ham the way they always are, mate. When it comes down to the final hurdles, I can see Brighton are our bogey team, mate. The amount of times who's that striker they always had? Oh, he always scored. Can't think of his name.
Glenn Murray. Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm going to say is they are our bogey team, but I like to be positive. And one thing to be positive about as well is they've got key players out. Lamptey's out, Lallana perhaps out. The two geezers that got suspended in their last game. Dunk, massive player in the defence that they'll be missing, and Malpay as well going forward. They are our bogey side. They are our bogey side, but I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm praying that you're right, but I'm going for, sadly, for just the way we've been playing of late. You know, I saw the players coming out a lot of, not excuses, but against the Everton game, right? And I thought, hang on a minute, lads, you didn't play that well, right? Yeah. And they were like, oh, we just didn't get the lucky break and all this sort of stuff. I thought it was a bit of a bollocks, to be honest. But, you know, you never know, mate, you never know. But I'll go for the 1-0 prediction in the hope that we win. Yeah.
There we go. I tell you what, you'll have to wait and see on the build-up show to see what my prediction is. But refresh us then. You want it to go to penalties, but refresh us with your prediction for the FA Cup final. Chelsea versus Leicester takes place later on at Wembley with 21,000 fans in. Fantastic to see them going back in. Let's hope they pile back in to see a fantastic cup final. Prediction.
For me?
Yeah.
Penalties. 1-1 going to penalties. And Leicester victory. Leicester will win on penalties. 1-1 at full time. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Your dad's wrong.
Yeah.
He's saying Chelsea penalties. We normally quite get it right, me and your dad together. But he's definitely wrong. Chelsea penalties. They can't take penalties, mate.
We'll just have to wait to see. Gates is saying Chelsea 1, Leicester 0, sadly, and his prediction for the game later on: Brighton 1, West Ham United 2. I hope so as well. I'll tell you what, I don't care the way we get 3 points. As long as we get 3 points on the board, I'll be buzzing. Hoping for a Leicester win, but can't see it. My prediction the same as Gatesy. Gates says we will open up Brighton like a bag of crisps. Stay positive. I hope you're right, Gatesy.
No, so come on, Gates, you have it right.
Lingard will be on fire and Benrahma off the bench to score. We'll just have to wait and see with the starting lineup that will come out at 7 o'clock. But we will be live to react to that live. James, he definitely will have his opinion on it. And Peach, we will react to the starting lineup live, and it's live from the words of Martin Tyler to react to that. But thank you very much, Steve, for coming on the preview. He is still on strike from Football with Brownie, but thank you very much for taking the time to come on West Ham Unofficial today.
Yeah, cheers, Jake. See you later, buddy. Bye, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to. Check out all the videos coming. Peach will be on the build-up show. Then tomorrow he will be doing his match review as well, so look out for that, because he definitely will have his say about the game. Anyway, come on, you eyes. Let's hope for an entertaining cup final with fans in the stadium, and I'll be back very, very soon. Goodbye.